the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react. Understand.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
The truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to VOP 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
It's a beautiful Monday morning, and I say welcome to VOP this morning. It's a good day to be alive. And, well, we'll take you through a few things that we'll be talking about this morning. We'll be starting, of course, with Serap petitioning the Code of Conduct Bureau to investigate Senate over Electoral Act and the tax laws. And also, we'll stop by and see what's happening with terrorists as they kill 13 Abduct Catholic priests and 10 others in Benue and Kaduna attacks, and also revisit the Kwara State attack and some other attacks that have plagued Nigeria. And we'll also go to Rivers State, because we hear that Rivers State is under Wike's rule. No dissent allowed. Well, who said this? Well, you get to find out in the course of the program. Now, these are the major conversations this morning on the show. All right, so come along with us and let's dissect it all, making sense of these conversations. I am Moses Humphrey.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. Come along with us as we dissect it all. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Now, a lot is happening in Rivers State, and I think that trend is not so pleasing. This is the right time, to stop all of that. Anyway, we'll talk about all of that in the course of the program.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on VOP this morning. My name is Jane Ogoye. Let's dive into the main topic, one of the main topics for today. Sit-at-home cancellation sparks controversy. IPOB denies group's claim. A group claiming to be affiliated with the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, announced the cancellation of the Monday sit-at-home directive in the Southeast region. However, IPOB quickly distanced itself from the group, describing its members as criminals allegedly recruited by Simon Ekpa to destabilize the region. The group, which wore IPOB clothing and displayed IPOB flags, cited a direct instruction from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to suspend the weekly sit-at-home action. IPOB spokesperson Ima Powerful denied any knowledge of the group and warned that anyone involved in criminal activities under the guise of IPOB will be called out. Let's check out the video for more insights.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear friends all over the world. Today is 7th of February 2026. This information is coming from the table of Triple General Igwe Botozo and Major General Gento de Yahoo and all the 40 state commanders in Biafra land. As the information reaching to my table to inform all Biafrans, order from the highest command of the Biafra Restoration Movement, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has reached us that Monday sit-at-home is cancelled from today. Sit-at-home is a voluntarily and will not be enforced henceforth. Last Monday, sit-at-home February, 2nd of February, sit-at-home was a one-off event due to the Soludo's stupidity, and they will not happen again. Onitsha traders and Onitsha traders are Biafrans, and our children must return to school on Mondays, as commanded by our able leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Our job as guardians of Biafra land is to keep away Fulani terrorists from our land. That is the task our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, gives us, and we must follow it to the letter. No enforcement will be tolerated henceforth. Our traders should decide if they want to open or not. Any intimidation from Soludo or any government will force us to react. If Soludo is as stupid to lock down any shop in Onitsha, his family, house, and that of his in-laws will be destroyed too.
All right, there you have it. Those words, heavy words, really, from this faction, if I may call it that, of IPOB. Well, we hear that Emma Powerful, the spokesperson of IPOB, has dissociated IPOB from this faction. Well, in a statement that he put out, he said this faction is sponsored by Simon Ekpa, and he's saying they have absolutely nothing to do with this faction. But the unifying statement from Emma Powerful and this faction is that the Monday seat at home has been called off. That's the unifying thing that both factions have said. But this faction, it's really disheartening to hear the tone with which these individuals, and by the way, these individuals they were not masked. They had their faces, open, which basically means that if security agencies are to fish them out, it would be a whole lot easy if the person making the speech himself did not cover his face. And, you start to wonder the audacity, the guts that such an individual who could barely articulate proper English anyway, basically reading what was written and given to him, because that's what it looks like, would, threaten the government of the state, the governor, and the family of the governor. You start to wonder, where did they get that audacity from? It's disheartening, to say the least. It's disheartening to even ponder on such statements coming from this individual. But I do hope that if these individuals don't have some person, some highly placed individual sponsoring them, then I think the security agencies, the police, should fish them out and basically just fish them out and make them face the wrath of the law. You don't issue threats to people, and they were brandishing guns and the rest right there in that video, posing with flags of Israel and the United States and all of that. So I think they should be fished out, to say the least, and I do hope that they will be fished out in as soon as possible. Yes, I hope they will be fished out as soon as possible.
But they are not the only group to be fished out.
Exactly.
They should also fish out other groups, like what is going on in the Middle Belt, the militia, this the killer headsmen, bandits, kidnappers.
No, but the focus here is splinter faction of IPOB. Because if you want to go by the statements of Emma Powerful, these guys are making IPOB look bad. If you want to go by the statements of Emma Powerful.
But I think both of them, both this guy and Emma, ended at one point. That
yes.
See that ended. But Emma is just simply saying, well, while Sit at Home should end based on the orders of Nnamdi Kanu and the DOS Director of State, this group
It's not affiliated with us. Yeah.
And probably they are being sponsored by Simon Ekpa. You know, that's the position that we have. But beyond this, my take in all of this, briefly, you know, this group looks ragtag. If you ask me, very uninformed, and even look at the guy that is reading, to the point of calling the governor stupid. You know, even if it were an ordinary person, you don't call a fellow man stupid and all of that. It shows his level of, you know, his level of education and all of that. Now, that said, what is going on in Igbo land, it's quite unfortunate regarding the fact that, well, people have to sit at home on a certain day and all of that. I said it earlier. It was a track, but it was not a track that I knew it was not a track that would work. But people are very sentimental. People are very emotional, you know, when it comes to issues of agitation, you know, separatism and all of that. But my worry, not worry really, I see these things happen. These things are bound to happen, splinter groups. Because I've done a little search, you know, in places where self-determination was fought for and succeeded and failed. I started with South Africa during the ANC days, you know, within the black community, you had the ANC. You had the PAC, Pan-Africanist Congress. Even after that, you know, when apartheid was dismantled, in the lead up to the elections, we have the Inkantha Zulu fighters, you know, with the ANC. All of them in the black community, killing themselves black on black. And if you go to the best separatist group in France, you know, and Spain, there were also divisions. You go to South Sudan, where even after the independence, you have the problem between the Nuer and the Dinka and all of that. Black people, same people, you know, so it's everywhere. The only thing that we need to do, I still believe that the problem that led to the emergence of IPOB is the fact that there was a leadership vacuum, you know, in the Southeast, in the Igbo nation. That was a leadership vacuum. It was because of that vacuum that IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, stepped in. Unfortunately, when you start something like this, it certainly goes beyond you.
Yes.
Nnamdi is no longer in control of IPOB, whether we like it or not. He's no longer in control of IPOB.
Yeah.
You know, so that is one thing with building organizations like that. Even the IRA, you know, in the North Island, the Irish Republican Army and the Sinn Féin and all of that, they had divisions. But at the end of the day, they were able to collaborate and achieve their aim. All said, the important thing here is that, well, Monday sit at home has come to an end in the Southeast. Anambra State is about the last state. It stopped long ago in Abia, in Enugu, parts of Imo State, and then Ebonyi State. But graciously, it has ended in Anambra State. So let's go back to where we are. But the Igbo leadership should articulate, you know, the way forward. A lot of people believe that if you conduct a referendum today, majority of Igbos will actually like to stay in Nigeria. I tell you that because of the living space. Yeah. No, but because people are sentimental and emotional about it, they don't want to hear that angle. Well, let's see how it goes. We are in Nigeria at the moment, so the only thing we can do is to enjoy the living space that we have here.
I agree, and let's just hope this is like this puts a final stop to the sit at home, whatever that has gone on for so long, because people are losing their source of income, livelihood every day. And for me, it's even the fact that fear, you know, is that fear. And I also feel that once this group, I'm speaking about IPOB now, once a group has lost its voice, fear becomes decentralized.
I like the word fear that you use, because if you go to the Southeast now, if you go to a place like Anambra or if people come out today, it's as a sense, they are not coming out because of a sense of safety.
Yes, it's,
you know, in a sense of fear. It is fear that still pervades. Because they are not clearly sure well, if any incident wouldn't happen and all.
But do you think it's also safe or right to say that at this point, perhaps IPOB has lost its, would I say, footing? I know that splinter groups always come up, you know, when you have movements such as this. But with this, you know, although both people are saying the same thing at the end of the day, but do you think IPOB still has that firm grip?
You know, the point is that, to answer your question directly, IPOB never had a firm grip.
Okay.
It was a sense of fear. You know, legitimacy is different from fear.
Okay.
You know, compliance based on fear is different from compliance based on legitimacy.
Okay.
You get the point. So it was compliance based on fear. So they never had it.
Okay.
It was not legitimately so, you know, in terms of organization and all of that, in terms of people falling behind it. You know, the intelligentsia, the Igbo intelligentsia, were never part of it.
But the common men,
Exactly. So it's still that sense of fear, you know, not out of legitimacy.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to another story.
Moses is disagreeing with me, but I don't know why.
I don't, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
A new trend has emerged in Lagos where thieves are targeting women's wigs, leaving victims feeling vulnerable and insecure. Now, the incident, often carried out by motorcyclists with accomplices, have sparked widespread concern among women in the city. The wigs, which can be valued up to 15 million. Jane?
Yes?
15 million naira can be spent on wigs?
People do.
People do?
Women do.
Oh my. Oh well, we hear that these wigs can be valued at, that's what you carry on your head. You carry land on your head.
No, it's like
15 million naira are highly sought after due to their high demand and lucrative resale value. Now, some thieves sell the stolen wigs on social media platforms or to thrift vendors, making it a profitable business. Now, to protect themselves, women are advised to wear scarves, tighten their wig caps, and be hyper vigilant, especially in crowded areas. Now, some wig sellers also offer customization services, such as embroidering initials inside the wig to make them more difficult to resell. So you put your initials, like J.A., Jane Ogoye, inside the wig. My goodness. It's a big market. It's a big market. Yes. From the different names, I don't even want to mention the different names.
Mention them. Tell us the ones you know.
Well, I used to know Peruvian. Okay. I used to know, that's like low now, right? Low now. It's gone down, right? Mm. But it was big at some point. My goodness. I used to know of Cambodian.
Oh, yes.
That's the big one now. Is that a brand or that's Bone Straight?
Where it's sourced from. Bone Straight is a type.
Okay.
Is a type.
Brazilian.
Okay. All right. So all of this, it's interesting that even in places like India, they give up their hair to be, in the temple, to be resold. So India is a major exporter of hair. Vietnam too.
Yeah.
So you basically, those that keep their natural hair at some point will go submit themselves to some authority and have them shave their hair off, and then they put some, they clean it up, put some dye in it, and then package it. Put like what's that thing called?
Just sanitize it.
Weave
it, and sell it to, to Africa.
Closure. Put some closure on top of it.
What's this? I really
because I was
you know so much.
I was thinking if Moses has done this hair business.
I'm suspecting Moses. Are you sure you don't have a hair business?
Yeah, he knows a lot about all of this.
Well, I have a woman in the house.
So do I. All of us. But I don't know anything about it.
Depends on the attention you put. Okay. But I see them tonguing. They do all the tonguing. Okay. I see them tonguing every day, every morning. And I'm like, you're going to run down, you're going to use up electricity doing all of this. It's really annoying.
I think Moses, Jen, we would like for you to educate us briefly. But before I come to you, I'm not sure that the protective way is to, they say you sew something is a scrap.
The cap. There's a band.
There's a band that keeps it firm on the head.
Yeah.
No, you know the danger now. If a motorbike is on motion and pulls it, and it's difficult for the thing to get off the head, it might just pull the person down.
That's even not as harmful as there are types that they stick on the skin.
Yes.
They sew.
So
on the skin.
On the skin, yes.
No, you don't sew on the skin.
They don't stick on the skin, they sew.
I've seen people pull out types and
okay, so that's the frontal.
That's the frontal. They stick that one on the skin.
Yes.
Now, if you pull that off forcefully, it could peel the person's skin.
Apart from peeling, if the person is light, and depending on the velocity, of the motorbike, it could actually pull the person down, and it becomes.
Mr. Okoro, do you know what came to my mind when Moses was reading it? I'm like, how would you wear a wig of 15 million and climb a bike?
No. It's not walking down the road.
Walking on the road.
No, even if you are in a Mercedes automatic, you have to come down at one point.
While I won't knock people for their personal choices or what they choose to do with their money, I'm still trying to grapple, wrap my head around why I'll wear a 15 million naira wig.
One thing I've discovered is some women invest in it. Like they used to invest in jewelry at some point. People buy expensive jewelry when they have the
No,
money.
it's not an investment.
And
it's not an
and keep it
investment
for
that will
rent-
give
for
you
rainy
returns.
later they can resell.
No,
use the money.
not
At a
for
higher
hair, not
price.
hair.
Really?
No,
Okay.
it doesn't have like second-hand value.
Oh, I hear
So
it
the
does.
people that are pulling them out, what are they
I hear it
using them
does.
for?
I hear it does. They can resell.
You can resell, but you won't compare it to jewelry, to gold, and all of that.
Okay, that
It's
the
not
price
a wise-
appreciates.
No, it doesn't appreciate.
No, I mean the price
Yes,
of gold, jewelry
ap-
appreciates.
but not wigs,
Not the
not
wig.
hair. But for me, I feel it just goes to tell us how big the beauty industry is in Nigeria.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you're a man into beauty industry
And
in
Nigeria is the
Nigeria, there's so much money
second highest users of wigs
in the
Besi-
world.
In the world, yes, after America.
It's a booming market. You need to see these Vietnamese people. You will see their ads on social media, and they are targeting Nigerians. Even in their ads, I mean the Chinese, the Cambodians, the Indians, which are like the top, sources for these wigs. They target Nigeria. So it just goes to tell us how big the beauty industry is and how lucrative it is in Nigeria.
Why can't we encourage our women from childhood to keep their natural hair?
I was
that's
coming to that
another
because in
conversation.
terms of protection, so that when they pull it, it won't go off your hair. I think the best thing to do is to wear low cuts now.
No, but it doesn't beautify you, so they wear.
Who says who?
No, you can.
Says who? You can be beautiful.
Not everybody has the head for it.
It has hair. The producer is telling me that this is not 1942, but I see a lot of beautiful women,
Is your wife on
professional
low
women, wear low
Is
cuts.
your wife on low cut?
Wear low cut. No, it's not about my wife now. It's not about my wife. Moses asked the question, why will a woman use 15 million naira to buy hair?
So, Mr. Okoro, I think it just depends on the things we place premium on.
It's priority.
Because
What I
head,
you. Why will a man use 250 million naira to buy a G-Guard when he could also use 50 million naira to buy a Formatic? That's the question.
Mr.
Choices,
Okoro, can I say something? Anytime I see this, sometimes I'm maybe on the road driving and I see a very luxurious car and I'm like, maybe I ask my husband, how much is this car? He'll be like, 100 million. I'm like, wow, so this is an estate. Somebody's driving on the road. I say, you're a poor person. That's why I'm thinking like that.
That is the way.
I just think it's a mindset.
So that, like
thing.
you said, the 15 million naira is a plot of land in some part of Lagos, or even 2 plots of land in some part of
Lagos.
And you're wearing it on your hair.
But then again, we should look for, because there was a time the snatching of jewelry was a thing. I mean, I've had it. There was a time it happened to somebody standing close to me at Oshodi many years back, and I felt sorry for the lady. Then they just come to you, they snatch it, and they leave you with marks and all of that. And that market seems to have died out. So I think what government should do, because people need protection, whether or not they chose to put land on their head or an estate on their head, they still need protection. So what government should do something. And these people, I mean, they don't just snatch it and run on foot. They are usually on motorbikes. And I understand that this trend started on social media with skip makers. That's about the first place I started seeing it. Skip makers started doing these things, snatching hair off ladies, and then we will laugh it off. But now we are seeing it happen. It's basically been a message that has gone down. People have absorbed it. Like, oh yes, truly, money can be made from taking weeds. But my concern is for the women who would have this thing snatched off their head, and the possible danger, like you were trying to say, if it's tightly fit and they pull the hair
with that
velocity, yes, it could make the person fall or something, and then create
be a different
injuries
story altogether.
But we should be more protective, and
But Moses, sorry to cut you in. I think we should be very realistic here. You're calling on the government to do something, but
clamp down on these robbers.
To clamp down,
yes.
But that's not going to happen soon. So I think we should think about how you can prevent or guard against that. So me, I would say, don't wear your expensive wig out. You can
put your wig in the bag.
Yeah, wear something lesser if you have to walk on a very busy road. I mean, I still can't understand why I'll wear a 15 million naira wig
or a 1 million naira wig.
I can't even spend that much on a wig. Sorry, I can't.
Your husband told you something. Anyway, let's leave that and get into another interesting story. Well, the Nigerian musician icon Tubaba has spoken candidly about a disagreement with his wife Natasha in London, attributing the incident to anger and emotional strain. In a recent podcast appearance, Baba took responsibility for his actions and expressed regret over the episode. He emphasized the importance of managing emotions and responding carefully in tense situations, sharing lessons learned from his experiences. Well, it's good that he's the one saying this. He went to fight with his wife. I think that is his business. And as a matter of fact, I mean, he has learned his lessons. So yeah, that's my take on that.
It's interesting that he's coming out again to talk about this. I mean, this is just after a lot of people have forgotten about what happened to him and his wife, and she got him arrested. I mean, it's a path you chose, so live your life. And then in that interview, he said he has not been a good father to his children in recent times. So now you know, be a good father, retrace your steps, and you do the needful, do the things that you've learned. All right, so that's
I agree with you, but how do you successfully father 7 children? Now, I'm not saying this to judge him, but how do you successfully father 7 children, with different
Our forefathers did.
Okay, they did that remotely.
I was just going to say that.
But under the same roof now.
Our fathers had 10,
but under the same
15
roof.
children.
Jane, even now.
In fact, some people have a lot of children.
That's true.
Under the same roof, sometimes spread out. And they're able to father them. So it's he should just do better. I mean, since he knows that he can do better and he has learned, that's his business, really.
Yeah. I also watched the interview, and I think what stood out for me was when he talked about politics. You saw the interview as well?
No, I didn't.
Okay. He talked about politics and how he's going on. He wants to use his music to galvanize the youths and have them be actively involved in politics and avoid violence, vote buying, and all of that. So for me, I felt that was more topical.
I think he's just trying to
redeem
put
his
himself
image,
out
right?
there. There was a time Two-Face made a call for some sort of protest after he did a song.
But he was threatened.
Was a following.
He was threatened, and then he backed
There
down.
was a following at that time. People were like, yes, if Two-Face leads this, we will all come out.
Yeah.
And then threats came, and Baba just
the following day say, sorry, Nigerians, we can't.
So he doesn't have the stomach for such things.
Do we have any?
To talk about love.
Do we have any?
It's okay.
Do we have any Nigerian artist who is very social conscious and that can lead such things right now? Do we have any?
Right now, the problem is a lot of them are funded by politicians. A lot of them. So it's really difficult to have those that will come out and say, look, these are those that tried it, the likes of African China that talked about how Nigeria is. Idris Abdul Karim. We know where they are today. I mean, when the challenges of life came, they had to go back to some of these people for assistance, and they didn't get it. And a lot of them have had issues. So I think the younger ones just know, look, let's just align. Let's just align and have one Baba somewhere invite us to shows and give us money and all of that. So it's difficult at this time. We can't have another fella.
No, we can't.
If that's what you're hoping to get.
No, we can't.
We can't have another fella. So the people will just decide on what they want and what they can deal with and what they think they've had enough of, and deliver themselves. So well, let's run to the papers now. Let's see what headlines we have from the pages this morning. Jay.
Okay, on the front page of the Daily Sun, insecurity, tension in Kogi, Niger State. Markets, motor parks, shots across 7 local governments in Kogi. We are under siege. Niger communities cry out. No more Monday sit at home. Kano, others IPOB. Cost of medicine soar. Defy federal government's cost-cutting framework. NBA president raises alarm over rot in judiciary. Pope asks Tinubu to protect Nigerians. Dangote Cement vows to make Africa self-sufficient in cement production. Enugu government grows IGR to 406.7 billion, targets 870 billion naira in 2026. Also on the front page of The Guardian, Treasury bills see over 400,000% demand spike as manufacturers face credit squeeze. Outcry grows over e-transmission ahead of Senate's emergency session. IPOB Kano cancel Monday sit-at-home order. SAN rank under scrutiny as AGF CJN warn against abuse of influence. BOI secures CBN's approval for non-interest banking. Pope mourns victims of attacks in Nigeria, urges governments to protect citizens. Atiku, no economic sense in reviving failed refineries after 1.5 billion naira investment.
And there you have it. Now let's run to the conversation. Sarah petitions Code of Conduct Bureau to investigate Senate over Electoral Act and the tax laws. Let's talk about this when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. Awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Now, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has petitioned the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB, to investigate members of the Senate and other public officers over alleged irregularities in the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill on the tax reform laws. SERAP claims that certain senators removed provisions on electronic transmission of election results from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill during plenary, despite a majority voting for their inclusion and without debate on the proposed removal. The organization also alleges that the processes leading to the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill and the signing into law of the tax reform laws were marked by alterations to bill provisions without debate and due process of law. SERAP is seeking a prompt, thorough, and effective probe into these claims and has asked the CCB to examine whether inducements, benefits, or promises were offered or received in connection with these acts. Oh, well, we do have with us on the program today, we have Adams Atta Esquire, a legal practitioner and a human resource practitioner. Good to have you join us this morning. We also have with us Barrister Darlington Agomore. Good morning to you, Barrister. Good
morning, Moses. And how was your weekend?
Very well. Thank you. So, the last week ended with Nigerians talking about the passage, the removal of real-time transmission of election results through to INEC portal. But this week, we're starting, over the weekend, conversations, and then Senate President Godswill Akpabio made some statements also. He has said that the Senate will not be intimidated. I'm trying to get his exact words, but one other thing that he said is that in 9 states, there are no internet. Internet access is not available in 9 states. And so, this is to avoid possible problem. Well, looking at the Senate President's exact words, he says, in states where networks are not working, does it mean there will be no election? If the national grid collapses, will no results be valid nationwide? Technology must serve democracy. It must not endanger democracy. This is coming from the President of the Senate, right? And he went on, he said, all we said was that the word real time should be removed. If you want to transmit results electronically, do so. If you want to use your phone, iPad, or any device, do so. But if you make real-time transmission mandatory and there is a network failure or a grid collapse, what happens to the elections? This he said. And then in the same statement, he says, until we approve the votes and proceedings, the bill is not completed. Any senator can still rise to say that the record does not reflect the agreed outcome and it can be corrected. Why then are people setting up panels on television stations and abusing the Senate when the process is incomplete? All right. So we have set up our own panel here, not to abuse, but to interrogate and see, what has happened. Oh, well, what do you make of the statement from the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio? What if there is a grid collapse during elections? Is that just making excuses? Barrister Darlington.
The propositions of the Senate President does not add up. If there's a grid collapse, will it be only on those 9 states, to be precise?
No, but then it will affect the 9 states that don't have. Is it that people in 9 states don't make calls?
Wait, I'm coming. The 9 states he pointed out, I was talking about grid collapse and no network. Are you telling me that up to today, no economic activities are going on in those states? No POS, no banking? Eh? And how did he come about these 9 states? Who gave him the data? Is it the network, or he just sat down in his office and assumed? Look, it did not add up, and it will never add up. Thank God some civil society groups are storming Abuja today. They are reconvening for an emergency session over this bill. Agbabio should pass this bill. Leave the other things for nature to take its course. Leave it for nature. Because if you transmit, it cannot come back to you. Even if there's a network glitch or whatever, the result you posted is already going. So whenever the network comes, it will still go on its own. You don't need to bring it out again and start using your hand, you know. All these things are when you don't want to do anything, you must find one excuse or one reason or the other. Why can't this National Assembly and the federal government make sure that the networks cover those states? The network cover those states.
Right. Okay.
Yes, that is what they're supposed to do. Yes, they should do it.
All right. So, Barrister Atta, now the Senate President has spoken. TERAP has also made a move, contacting Code of Conduct Bureau and asking that they investigate. What do you mean? Do you think anything will come out of that investigation or that proposal that CCB investigates if monies were given to the senators to pass this bill the way it was passed?
I'm not surprised, and I don't think anything is going to come out, because looking at the antecedents of this government, it's a half-baked government. We have seen series of allegations against them. Who is there to investigate them? There's nobody. They call a government that is hobnobbing and romancing with the executive arm of government. It's just a rubber stamp National Assembly. Who's going to investigate them? Nobody. Is it the police? Is it an arms of government that they are conniving together to bring out a result to favor them? I don't think anything better will come out. More importantly, recently we heard about the allegation of the tax law and all those things. And now another law is being said to have been tampered with. How are you going to justify that? Who is there to investigate them? There's nobody. And that is why you see that the Senate President is preempting even an election for 2027. He's already preempting there's going to be glitch. On what basis? On what assumption? Who's spoon-fed in? On what grounds? So for me, I think that they are not serious. They know what they are doing.
Is it that they are not serious? What are Nigerians expecting a little too much from the Senate that is largely filled with members of the APC? Are we expecting too much?
We're not expecting too much. Do the needful. That's what the people are saying. We voted them in. We pay tax, and in reciprocal, you give us the best.
Do you honestly think that the Senate will, establish the fact that election results, e-transmission of results should be mandatory, knowing that, they need to create room for loopholes that will make it easy to get in? Are you expecting that they will do the needful in that regard?
Whether e-transmission, whether transfer, in line with the provisions of Section 60 of the Electoral Act, these people will hack the system. It's certain. We cannot hide
so
from the
e-transmission is
whether
really,
electronic transmission,
that's not where the salvation will come from.
Whether electronic transmission, whether transfer, manually or physically or otherwise, these people will manipulate the system. But it's important we start from somewhere.
Okay, it's important we start from somewhere.
Yes.
Barrister, talking about hacking, I heard someone put up an argument that, look, why is the opposition is interested in this real-time transmission is that they have perfected, the act of hacking, and that they want to hack the elections. That's why they are insisting on the e-transmission of results. But I want us to move away from that briefly. But Barrister Darlington, let me come to you. I want us to return to the issue of internet connectivity, the substructure on which this particular exercise is built. Talking about the power supply, internet connectivity and all of that. Wouldn't it have been appropriate, for Nigerians to say, okay, let us ensure that there is full internet connectivity. Let us ensure that there is 24/7 supply of power before we start talking about e-transmission of results. That is one angle of the equation. The other angle is, I also checked out a few other countries, like I went to Ghana and I went to Kenya. I discovered that Ghana is hybrid. The electoral law says, when it is possible for you, use e-transmission. If it is not, upload manually. And in their last elections, and that was the hybrid method they used, and nobody went to court. The winner congratulated the loser congratulated the winner, and the winner accepted it magnanimously. And in all of that, by the way, talking about the electoral processes in Nigeria and Ghana, Barrister, are you aware that the Ghana president has recalled the Ghana High Commissioner to Nigeria because of what? Because he was involved in electoral malpractice just last year before he became the High Commissioner here. So I'd like for you to put all of this together. Is it not better that we say, okay, let us put the substructure in place before we now put the structure, which is the e-transmission of results? Wouldn't it be better than this back and forth that we are going?
If we don't force their hand, nothing will be done. They are not ready to do anything. If you consider the fact that this particular section of the electoral law caused a lot of problem during the 2023 election tribunal session, whereby it was decided that the IREV and BVAS are discretionary. Is that not the only reason why people are saying, okay, make it now legal and mandatory, so that such excuses will not come up?
No, the same discretion I talked about in Ghana is also discretionary in Ghana.
Mr. Okoro, the people in Ghana are not the people in Nigeria.
Oh, okay. So it's a human problem
in
now.
Ghana, they don't shut down their country when they are doing election. True or false? So in your own case, the whole place must be on lockdown because we want to conduct elections. So in Ghana, they have imbibed some moral integrity in the conduct of state affairs. That is why you don't see such things there. We watch Ghana election. I think that was that last year. Is that not to be
last
here?
Year, yes.
Yes, we are here. Some people were voting while some women were selling by the side. You just vote and go away. Vote. In Nigeria, is it like that? So you have a peculiar set of human beings. No thanks to our leaders who have been, who are now preaching the principle of grab it, snatch it, and run away. And our youth have imbibed this culture of violence. No thanks to our leaders, because this youth learned it from them. These youth were the ones that energized and mobilized them. For example, the opposition cannot hold any meeting anywhere now. Some unknown persons, hoodlums, that's what they call them, they will go and scatter the place. Ordinary meeting. They will go and scatter the place and chase them away. No arrest, no nothing. What are you breeding in a country like what kind of human being are you breeding? What will be wrong if our leaders imbibe a culture of what? Integrity and due process in all our affairs. Because after doing all this is now, the ripple effect or the implication is that in future, these people will turn around and be preaching moral to me. Meanwhile, the evil seed they planted now, by the time it will germinate, they may not be in the office. And maybe somebody that will inherit it, they will start blaming that person. You can't even conduct election. There is no this. If they leave office tomorrow, Mr. Okoro, this APC, they will be the one preaching for this mandatory transmission of a result. They will be the one preaching it.
But Barrister, briefly, but as an aside, we're still in line with what we are discussing. I said something about the president of Ghana recalling their high commissioner because he was involved in electoral malpractice. Yes. But here, people that conducted the worst elections are rewarded with ambassadorial positions.
Mr. Okoro, have I not told that we are peculiar people? In this particular country, we believe let's move on. All the atrocities committed, don't worry, the election is over, let's move on. Is that not why we are here? Imagine if people were punished. Mr. Okoro, imagine if people were punished for what they did with our election in the last general election. But nobody said anything. You can't even say anything. They'll tell you, let's move on, the election is over. Is that not what we are hearing? The worst of it that go to court, and when you go to court, what happens? So, except we have leaders who know that national integrity is the way to go, so that this mockery of Nigeria all over the world will stop. Mr. Okoro, we are being mocked all over the world. I mean, mockery of the highest order, because we have nothing to hold on to as a country. Nothing.
Barrister, let's go back to the clause. Why is it that clauses that tighten transparency seems to be the one that will mysteriously disappear at the end of the day in Nigeria? Why does this seem to be the case?
What do you expect when you are... Look, for you to drive integrity, you must have men of integrity in office. Simple. You can't give what you don't have. Look, Somebody or people who have been groomed in the act of violence. You mean all of a sudden they will become nice people, Abi? Hold on. You mean all of a sudden they will now become nice and do things in a humane manner, do things with respect, with dignity? My dear, you cannot give what you don't have. That is what we are seeing today. Because when we shouted from the rooftop during the last, they said, let's move on, let's move on. Look at where we are now.
So basically, Nigerians are deluding themselves.
Yeah, I mean, is it not obvious? Everything we want to get from that is by force. Look at ordinary electoral reform. Look at, you have to mobilize everybody in Nigeria now for them to even start looking at it. They have to reconvene to start looking at it. But meanwhile, they're supposed to do the needful. The House of Rep, they conducted their own and said that this should remain mandatory and compulsory. But the Senate started speaking from three mouths. The Senate president started speaking from three mouths. Is that not why they are running back now? They say they want to convene. So there is no synergy. You have men who don't even have the interest of this country at heart, except their own selfish interests. They forgot that they will leave that office tomorrow. And the evil they kept there will be waiting for somebody else. Then who loses? Nigeria. Nigeria is the loser in all these things, Mr. Moses. We don't have any men of integrity in office. None of them. And they do something that, yes, you don't need to argue. Tomorrow we say, yeah, it was these people that gave us this. We don't have the proud. When they leave office, they say, yeah, we are the one that, did all this. We put it into law and it has helped the country. We have something to hold on to now. But nobody is thinking about it. Nobody.
All right. But Nigerians are, Nigerians are saying, look, there will be a protest if nothing is done. If we don't see
in Abuja today, yes.
A reversal.
Yes.
Barrister Atta. Now, NLC has, joined the fray. NLC is saying, look, we will join and there will be a nationwide shutdown if this is not addressed. But some Nigerians are thinking, NLC coming in might just be the end of everything because of antecedents where NLC joins the protest and that's it. It fizzles out. Next thing, when they take ownership of it, and then the government will probably have people to negotiate with, and then there'll be nothing again. Everything, all doors close after that. What do you say to NLC's inclusion?
You see, that's corruption we're talking about. Their integrity is already in doubt. And that is why Nigerians are saying, no, we don't.
But then can a protest happen without somebody taking the lead? Someone coming out to say, look, this is the organizers of this protest.
You yourself can even lead a protest by the provisions of the Constitution. You need not have a leader per se, but somebody needs to intervene and then discuss with the government. So by the provisions of the Constitution, anybody can lead the protest. It need not be a registered body. It need not be an established body. So that's what the Constitution then says. You can even do it solo. You can sit down, use a social media crusade to unleash your content, and then you pass your message. And then furthermore, you can even go down to the National Assembly. I don't like the fact that they are barricading the National Assembly as if it's heaven and then people cannot have access to it. That is a public office. We're entitled to go there and demand for accountability. We're entitled to go there to demand for respect for constituted authority. We can equally go there and tell them to do the needful. So it's not a matter that the building is designed for mere cosmetics or for history purpose. It is where we Nigerians can go there and exercise our rights. That's what the law is.
Okay, so Barrister Atta, would you say, because listening to Barrister Agwemo's submission, it's almost like a lost cause. And it's almost like, let's just resign to faith because nothing can happen. Because when we talk about the credibility of the people in power and all that they do, it almost seems as though that the law is even skewed to favor them. So at this point, is it right to say that Nigeria is broken or that Nigeria is just serving a particular few and we are just on our own? I mean, the populace, we are just on our own.
I want to say that, or let me put it this way, freedom is not given voluntarily. You must ask for it, you must request for it, you must take steps. And in a civil society like ours, the best way to do that is to request. And that is why we see that people are going there to protest in exercise of their constitutional right to demand for good governance. So you can't eat it and have it. You can't eat your cake and then you have it. So I'm very optimistic that the system is still there, it's still going to work. However, some people are benefiting from the system. They are feeding fat from the system. And that's why they are frustrating your effort, my effort, and every other person's effort. These are the people that voted you in. And then they are saying we need this, we need that, considering the fact that the court held that, no, indeed, it's discretionary for INEC to transmit. It's not compulsory. But however, the Nigerians are saying, make it part and parcel of the system. And then you are saying you are designing it to brand it in your own figure. Let me also quote the statement of the former Senate President, Senator David Mark, over the weekend. I think they were in occasion with Akpabio and others. And then he said that all we are saying is that you make it part and parcel of the law, Senator Akpabio. Don't make excuses for INEC. Do your own part. Your party is pursuant to Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution to make law for the good governance of Nigeria. That is what the law puts on board for what? For the Senate arms of government. And then now you are going on the voyage on your own. You are going on the frolic on your own to now delve into the job description of INEC. It's not done.
And to add to that, if the discretionary loophole that was there before, or that is still there, if it was actually used for a good purpose, nobody will bother. If INEC have used these discretionary powers it has, and transmitted that result without any glitch, please, Moses and every other person, do you think we'll come here to be arguing? Nobody will even remember that it needs to be made mandatory. It needs to be made legal. But because of this loophole, we say we don't want that excuse again. We don't want excuse again. Make it legal and mandatory. That is all. Because you are the one that created this problem by your actions and by your body language. We don't want another INEC chairman to tell us that it was not made legal. There is no law that says it must be by electronic transmission. We don't want it. Because the person here now may be worse.
But how do you also fix a system whereby the reforms threaten so many powerful people at once? How do you fix such a system?
There must be a way. What are you saying? Who is powerful? Nobody is powerful. It's only God. When the people decide, you are nothing before the people.
But Barrister, realistically, we have powerful individuals.
How powerful are they?
Powerful collectives.
How powerful are they? It's because you allow them to be powerful.
No, they are powerful because they are powerful. They lord it over us.
And essentially, these are the people to make the laws.
No.
They are the lawmakers.
Hold on. If you know your right and you decide on what you want, there's no powerful man here.
Now that we have not decided, we have the powerful
we are going to decide now. We are going to. They are mobilizing in Abuja. Is that what do you think?
Barrister, okay, you trust that this mobilization will.
I said something will come out of it.
Barrister, for everything we did about the tax reform laws, what happened?
What happened now?
Looks like it's in the cooler now. It's frozen.
Oh, so is it not people that pressurize? Is it not people that mounted pressure?
That's what I'm saying. Despite the pressure we mounted.
But you told it that it's frozen.
It's frozen. Okay, do you know whether it is? Okay, do you know the gazetted aspect of it?
Is it working now? Is it working?
Barrister, the way we run in this country, don't you think that you might just wake up one day and say that this law is already in place?
Somebody will go to court. As it is now, government has...
Now that Serap has gone to court, we are interrogating it. Do you think that anything will come out of this court case?
Something will come out of it. As long as the matter is in court, government cannot take further steps until that matter is adjudicated upon.
Really?
Yes.
That is supposed to be the law.
That is supposed to be the law.
Once the matter is in court, all parties are to stop pending the determination of the case. But however, a government that lack respect for rule of law and considered authority.
So that is the point. That is the issue now.
Do you know that if you should take my tax when the matter is illegal, I can sue you. I can go to court. Are you aware? I can go to court.
I'm aware. What we are saying.
No, Nigerians should never give up, not to give up yet. No, Nigerians should never give up, not to give up yet. Nigerians should never give up because you must fight for it.
Yes. Okay. The Western world was built with protests. Everything. Remember the black whatever that woman now that
Rosa Parks
who said I will not stand up in a train ride for a white man. Is that not how it started? No, is that not how this thing started? So except you fight for your right, nobody will give it to you.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
That's just the truth.
So the point I'm making is that Nigerians should not give up yet. Should not even give up at any time, at any point, because we must request. That is the purpose and that is the intention of the Constitution. Check and balances. The job description of the executive arm is there, the judiciary is there. But however, you see that these people don't respect the system. They take the law into their hand. How long are we going to continue with this? And that is what we're talking about. Integrity matters. Your reputation matters. Your classes of person matters. Your brand and what you're pushing and the people we vote in. We voted them in, they are our subjects. We're not supposed to be slave to them. A black man trying to recolonize a fellow black man in his or our own country. It's not done.
All right, then.
To make matters worse, everybody saw how this APC gave PDP hell in office with protests.
Well, thank you very much,
with protests.
gentlemen. Barristers Darlington Nagumo and Adam Zata. Thank you very much for your contribution. Barrister Darlington, we have to let you go.
Yeah.
We'll take a break now. Terrorists kill 13, abduct Catholic priest, 10 others in Benue and Kaduna attacks. Let's interrogate this conversation as well. Stay with us.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just read.
Welcome back. Now, terrorist attacks in Benue and Kaduna states have resulted in significant loss of life and abductions, highlighting the region's growing insecurity. Well, in Benue, an attack on Anwase market in Kwande local government area claimed 13 lives, with gunmen opening fire on traders and residents. Meanwhile, in Kaduna's Kaura local government area, terrorists killed 3 people and abducted a Catholic priest, Reverend Father Nathaniel Asuwaye, along with 10 other residents from Kako community. Well, the Kaduna incident has drawn attention to the priest's abduction, with the Catholic Diocese of Kafanchan calling for prayers for victims' safe release. According to reports, the attacker has invaded the priest's residence and nearby homes, leaving the community in shock and fear. Well, these attacks are part of a larger security crisis affecting Nigeria, with Amnesty International accusing the government of gross incompetence in protecting civilians. US President Donald Trump has also criticized Nigeria's government for failing to protect Christians, although the Nigerian government denies these claims, stating that the security challenges affect citizens of all faiths. We still have in the studio here with us Barrister Adams Atta. Thanks for staying with us.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be joined virtually in the course of the program by other guests. So let me stay with you, Barrister Atta. Since after the December 25th bomb in Sokoto State, we have seen terrorists double down. In Kaduna, 170 people abducted and released in bits and pieces. In Kwara State last week, in cold blood, 178 people were killed. We are going back to Kaduna again, 13 people killed. Now, since after the abduction of the over 170 people, 6 people were killed before. Now we heard 13 people killed. Catholic priest, his residence invaded, abducted, and 3 people in that residence killed. And within the community, other people killed. Are you able to help us offer an explanation, if you understand, why these people just doubled down after the incident? What are they telling Nigerians? What are they telling United States? Meanwhile, we understand that United States military, they are here, but we are told that they are here to offer logistics and intelligence, not boots on ground, by the way. So are you able to help us explain all of this, the way you understand it?
Yes, my little understanding is that it is a duty of the government to ensure that life and properties are well protected. That is what the Constitution envisages. But however, the reverse is the case. They are more interested in protecting themselves. You see VIPs attached with series of numbers of policemen, army men, armed personnel, and then all over the Federation. Even when Mr. President came out last time and then directed the concerned office to withdraw all the personnel from the VIPs, you see that we are lacking behind. Recently, last year, I saw a news that they want to recruit more policemen and then more force. Up to date, I don't think that appointment is that recruitment is done. That's number one. We lack more personnel and we lack intelligent units. So more importantly, that the U.S. government is involved. I want them to take charge in full, 10 over 10, 100%. Let them not give fora to the Nigerian, what is it called, security outfits. They can support, but let them be in charge. Let the U.S. government, because the Nigerian army and then the Nigerian police have failed us woefully.
No, when you say that they have failed us woefully, is it because they are overwhelmed? Because I heard you talk about recruitment of more men into the forces. Does it look like the present crop of officers that we have, men and officers, are they overwhelmed? Because we also hear from some of the sources within the military, whenever we try to, engage and take out these people, we have orders asking us to pull back and all of that. So is it a question of numbers or is it a question of intentionality in fighting this war on terror?
I think the intention to come out full in support is not there. And I have this impression that the government is equally involved. That is why we're not getting results. But however, like I said, and I'm saying it again and I will say it, I think the United States needs to take full charge. Don't give them that benefit. Yes, okay, because nobody celebrates failure all over the world. I don't celebrate failure. If you have tried once, 2, 3, and 4, but not even up to the 10th time, and then you continue to fail, I think somebody who can do it better should step up and then do the needful, not the... This is life and properties we're talking about.
Okay.
It is he that is alive that the government is going to govern. It is he that is alive that is going to pay tax. It is he that is alive that can make decisions. It is he that is alive that can even participate in election that will usher in most of our leaders. So it must be given priority over every other thing. If I'm not alive, you cannot be talking about tax law. If I'm not alive, you can't be benefiting from
the first duty of government is to protect lives and
properties.
Now, in the course of this intervention, you said something that I would like for us to expand. You said that government is involved. How?
Because, like I always say that, and I will say that, and I want to say it again, that let me quote the statement of our then military head of state, Sani Abacha. He said, once an insurgency exceeds 24 hours, know that the government is involved. And we have seen severally that, I think a recent killing sometime last year, were authorized to pull out. And then after pulling out, that was when about 2 or 1 hour thereabout, that was when the terrorists now came and then hit. So my point is very certain. You can see from the antecedent, you can see from all angles that the governments have failed woefully in protecting life and properties. And that is why you see that some the people like General Hussein thereabout, they are saying that Nigerians should, what is it called? Should start having access to weapons, bear arms and all those things. But however, I'm not in support of that, because even in the United States, that they are bearing arms, they cannot even manage that situation. How much of where a country that we have a tribal color and then
much ethnic society.
Yes, and then tribalism is there, religion is there. You like me, I don't like you, this and that. All those personal factors you need to.
Okay, we'll come. All right, thank you very much, Barrister Atam. We will come back to you in the course of this discussion because we have more talking points that you raised to interrogate. Let's quickly run to Professor Emmanuel Odue Usue, a professor of Old Testament Studies, Benue State University, Makurdi, Nigeria, who joined us virtually. Good morning to you, Professor, and thanks for joining us on VOP this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, beautiful. Good to have you, Prof. The connectivity is very clear, and I'm happy we can hear you loud and clear. Now, let's beautiful. Let's get into it. Prof, you are in Benue State. I'd like for you to bring us up to the minute. Give us an update. What is happening in Benue State? We hear that some communities in Benue were attacked recently. Is that correct?
It's correct. In Kwande local government area of Benue State, and Kwande is neighboring with Cameroon, and there are several attacks in Kwande. It's not just one incident. There are a couple of incidences of the attack in Kwande local government. And for your information, this is where illegal mining activities are taking place. And I suppose the government is fully aware of this. But the communities, the indigenous people are being killed, displaced in their ancestral lands. Fulanis and the Chinese are there, and they are carrying on with their own activities. And so it is taking place in Benue State. The Kwande local government is bounded with the Cameroon. It is a mountainous area. It's a very good place for mineral resources, including gold and other resources.
Quite interesting.
And then apart from that, in Ukum local government area of Benue State, which is also neighboring to Taraba, Takum to be specific, in Taraba states, there are series of killings there. In fact, recently, a list of more than 70 people were killed by terrorists. I'm talking about within the last 1 week. I'm not saying 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We're talking about the last 1 week.
That's a very serious matter.
But it has not made any newspaper headline.
Okay.
Why? Because as my other friend who had just spoken said, there's a strong suspicion, or allegedly, government is also part and parcel of
all right, Prof, before we get to the involvement of government in all of this, you said that in Kwande local government area, mining activities, are going on between the Fulani people and the Chinese. Now, is this a new perspective to this case of insecurity? Because before now, the impression we have is that, well, these Fulani people, the headsmen, are up for land grabbing. Looks like the situation is changing, where they have to kill people, just to put fear into them and keep on with their mining activities with the Chinese people. So is there some kind of change, in the mission of these people from land grabbing to doing business? Talk about mining. Which one will it be for you?
Well, it is, first of all, you need to have a geographical space. So their major agenda is to grab the land first. And then when you grab the land, you move ahead to make use of the land in the way and manner you want to do so. In this case, mineral resources are there. So when these criminals grab the land, they make use of it, they get interest from it. The Chinese are there. They are collaborators in one way or the other. Remember recently, about a month or less ago, when U.S. was contemplating on invading Nigeria and dealing with these criminal activities, the Chinese government said U.S. should not meddle in the affairs of an independent nation. This is what the Chinese government said. Why would they say so when their own citizens are here doing business, both black and white businesses, and then they are telling us that stay away from here? This is somebody reasoning properly. There should be a connection between what the president or the president of China said against the United States and what is happening here in Nigeria.
But it's a deep revelation that you've made here, in bringing China and basically the government, of Nigeria using Fulani terrorists, as it were, or headers, as it were, into this conversation. How much facts do you have to back this up?
What the president of China said is in a public domain. It wasn't.
I'm not talking about the statement from the president of China. I'm talking about the facts.
Second, listen. The Chinese are.
Oh well, Benue State seems to be one of the 9 states that do not have a good network.
Here,
the network.
We've seen them. They are moving here. One of my sibling brother, the youngest one in our family, was hit by this company vehicle of the Chinese here in Benue State.
The
matter is still within the police.
Is he alive?
I know what I'm talking.
Is he alive? He was run over by the vehicle.
Yes, of this company that are extracting illegal minings in Benue State. And they happen to run away. Up till now, we are still trying to bring this company to justice. So what we are saying is not a matter of whether it exists or it doesn't.
The company vehicle ran over a relative of yours.
Yes, but one of the things that is very unfortunate is the denial of our government. And those who are supposed to speak on these issues, they are denying these issues. So that is one of the issues that worries some of us. Because if you really want to address a problem, you first of all acknowledge the existence of that problem. And then you begin to look at possible causes of the problem. And then you profile solutions. This is the way to go. But living in denial that the problem exists in the first place shows that the person is not prepared to address the problem.
All right then, Prof. We'll come back to you shortly. Let me go to Dr. Dixon Osaje. No, just stay with us, please. Dr. Dixon Osaje, he's an international certified anti-terrorism specialist, global security analyst. He was with the Nigerian Army and also runs his own security outfit as the Breeze Protection. Now, Dr. Osaje, good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Good morning.
I understand you've been following the conversation, and talking about insecurity. I know we've had you here quite a number of times. We've talked about these things, but we know that in Benue State there is a local security outfit. I think they call them the Benue State Civil Protection Guards, and they're given game guns. That's what they've been given. Some of them actually have game guns. Others have machetes, and they are to protect residents against those with AK-47 rifles and the rest. Is this deliberate? Do you think it's deliberate by the government or some organization? Go ahead.
I think that's a suicide mission. It's a suicide mission. For you to face these deadly criminals with cutlasses and local weapons is a suicide mission, and I will not advise any of the people of Benue State to tread on the path of that suicide mission. That's it's a deliberate error and also a wrong approach in curtailing this crime. Like the last speaker already said, every problem starts with identification of that problem, then having identified the problem in the proper solution. So for me, I think it's a suicide mission, and that's a wrong notion and wrong way to go. So for me, the government of Benue State should start looking at carrying out an assessment of the entire situation of Benue State, look at the crime-prone areas where this threat is coming from, like the mining sites, and also ensure that they project reasonably security forces. And I'm very sure the Nigerian government is aware of what's happening there. And the reason why reasonable security forces have not been projected there is a surprising situation to me. We are ready to take out. Let's take them out. This joke has been taken so far, and that is why the President of the United States, President Donald Trump, tweeted and said Nigeria is a country of particular concern.
All right, if you want to go by the statement made by Professor Emmanuel Usier on the program there, where he talked about some terrorist group working with some nationals, some Chinese nationals, mining resources in that area, the areas where Kwande local government and some other areas where you have these killings take place. And we also have American boots on the ground. And of course, we understand that the Americans that have come to Nigeria, the boots on the ground, cannot work without cooperation from Nigeria's security agencies. Do you think this will lead to a stop in the level of insecurity that we are seeing, or maybe a reduction in it? America's involvement.
The United States is a country of interest from some criminal gangs and some terrorist sponsored nation, and I think that the United States coming on ground will help and mitigate the situation. But this is going to be a very long-lasting war if they are to engage this criminal element. We understand what happened in Afghanistan. They spent 20 years in Afghanistan. Terrorism is an ideological-driven mentality and driven war. And I tell you that if we are ready to take out these guys, I don't think the United States of America should have been on ground, because we have the capability, we have the capacity, and we have the will to take out these guys. But I don't think we are doing so well enough as a country, because you can't imagine, my brother, the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Nigerian police and other security parastatals engaging this group of organized criminal gangs. Then that tells you that it's becoming a state-sponsored crime. It's an organized crime, and we need to know what is sponsored, because it's impossible for you to have.
So if it is a state-sponsored crime, the question I'm asking is, if it is state-sponsored, will the coming of American soldiers make any difference?
Yes, it will make a difference. One, in the area of intelligence gathering, and secondly, in the area of eliminating the threat, because whatever poses threat to human life, the role of contention, the role of engagement is eliminate such threats. But here in Nigeria, we don't eliminate threats that poses dangerous risk to human lives. All we do is that we romance the threats, we negotiate with the threats, bandit negotiation, for example, and terrorism negotiation with the killers of our officers and men. So for me, the Americans on ground will mitigate it a little bit, but it's going to drag for a long time if the government hands is involved. But if the government is not involved, then they're going to succeed. But my brother, it's sad to have the Americans on ground when we have brave officers and men in the Nigerian army. But it's so sad that the Nigerian military has been politicized, and that's why they are not getting it right to take out these criminal gangs. They are not up to 1% of the population of Benue State, the people that are committing this crime. So what's the big deal in taking them out? So that means some people are benefiting from this mining, and they don't want the war to end.
Okay, now if you say it's embarrassing to have American government on ground, Would it be better if there's some mercenary, if some mercenaries were brought in, like we had sometime in the past in Nigeria, where some individuals were brought in by the government, of course, to help, deplete terrorist forces in Nigeria? Would it be better? And if mercenaries would be needed, do you have them at the Breach Protection Services Limited? Do you have the numbers? Do you have men with the experience that are not in service but can, do this thing and protect the people if government contracts them?
All right, thank you very much. The Breach Protection Services is a private security company licensed by the federal government of this great country. Private security companies have over 7 million personnel, average of 7 million personnel nationwide. And if the government start looking at integrating private security industry into a security design, they're going to do a lot in the area of intelligence and also in the area of response.
So we shouldn't be talking about losing forces. Then we shouldn't be talking about not having enough men on ground. If you have about 7 million for your own security outfit alone.
No, not my security outfit. I'm talking about the entire private security outfit in Nigeria.
Oh, the entire private security outfit, 7 million.
Yeah. About 1,000 of private security company in Nigeria. Like here in London, we have private security companies supplementing the effort of the police. In America, you have the private security company supplementing the efforts of the police. But the truth is, when it comes to security management, it's not all about personnel. There are 3 factors responsible when it comes to security personnel. We have the human factor, we have the technological factor, and we have the processes. These 3 components come together to, give an effective security management. The whole essence of technology is to reduce the loss of man, the loss of lives. That's why technology is being introduced into the battlefield. I tell you, 10 to 30 soldiers, 10 to 30 American soldiers can wipe out the situation in Benue State. All you need to do is to send in drones to the threat location and carry out a hostile surveillance within that threat location, and also ascertain their strength, their numbers, then send in fighters to go and clean them up. But yeah, we keep on putting our soldiers and officers and policemen, a line of risk to go after these guys, and that's why we are losing a lot of officers and men. And it's so sad we have them train so hard and dying cheaply.
All right, Doctor. If in Nigeria, the security on ground is very, very peculiar. If we have situations whereby these bandits, these armed men, operate for hours unchallenged and they abduct people in the process, and then you hear cases where you hear news that security operatives now come in 10 hours after. As a former soldier, where do you think that this break, in doing the right thing, where do you think it comes in? Is that at the point of intelligence, intervention, or does this still boil down to complicity within the military?
Fantastic question. You see, when it comes to security management, and that's why sometimes I've quoted the national security strategy. I think that is just a paper. I don't think it addresses the imminent trend developing the Nigerian people. When it comes to security management, looking at the response measures, we have the preventive measures. Sometimes you say prevention is better than cure. We have the preventive measures, measures put in place to ensure that these criminals do not exploit the vulnerability of the Nigerian people. Then we have the proactive measures, and these proactive measures is put in place to ensure that you manage any given threat or anything that poses threat to human life before it occurs. Then you have the response, reactive measures. Reactive measures is after the failure of proactive measures and preventive measures. And yet these 3 measures fail. The preventive measures fail, the proactive measures fail, and reactive measures fail. That is why you have our officers and men responding after the commission of crime. Each time you respond after the commission of crime, security has been defeated. So for me, it's an absence of intelligence, because for this criminal guy to organize themselves and carry out a strike without the knowledge of the Nigerian police or the Nigerian military, and they successfully executed that strike, it's a failure of intelligence, and it's also a failure on the national security strategy in the area of response.
All right, Dr. Osanje, let me stay with you. I'm happy that you talked about national security strategy. Do we actually have one in Nigeria? Are you aware if we have one? And what does it speak to?
Yeah, we have one national security strategy. I think.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it was launched by the late president of Nigeria, General Muhammad Buhari. That's about 4 years ago. The National Security Strategy is a book. In security management, we call it the life book, just like a Bible. It's a book that governs the entire state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Identifying threats and also how to respond to such threats. And that book is supposed to be reviewed every 3 years. Any national security strategy that is not being reviewed after 3 years, the reason why it should be reviewed is to look at what's happening in Benue State, for example, and check where the Nigerian government failed. Then, after ascertaining where their failure is, then you review the book and also, profile, another strategy
constant review. Okay, now I will assume that the national security strategy is overseen by the National Security Advisor. Am I correct?
You are very, very good.
Okay, beautiful. I asked the question in light of the fact that we saw the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. A few people were caught in Kwara State, Mieti Allah men, and with guns and equipment, And when they were asked, they said they were armed by the NSA to help the NSA fight insecurity in that area. So how do we balance all of that? Someone in charge of our strategy is arming people, people that are suspected to be the cause of the problem, and is arming them to fight the problem itself. Does it work where you live? Does it work that way in the UK where you live?
That's a technical error, operational error, and also an abuse on security management. For me, I heard about the story, and the reason why the Nigerian government have not set a board of inquiry to investigate this report is also disturbing, and that is why most times we see Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Because things like this happening in Nigeria is not acceptable in any global community. It's a disturbing situation that allegation is coming against our NSA. But for me, I think there should be an holistic investigation into this incident. We don't know the reason why he did that, but from my own public perspective, I'm not aware if that is a strategy or if those guys are capable than our military. If he does that, I think it's an abuse on our military system.
All right, Doctor. I'm not sure if you did listen to the professor when he spoke earlier and trying to make sense of the topography of Kwande, where the heinous attacks happened recently. From his explanation, he said it's mountainous and it also shares a border with Cameroon. From your military experience, what do you think about such topographies? Do you think, also looking at the peculiarity of Nigeria's security intervention and all of that, do you think that the topography of such areas might make it difficult for military intervention to come in early, or even maybe surveillance or even intelligence? What do you think in this regard?
If any human being can find them, if these criminals can find their way to that environment, then the military also can find their way to that environment, because these guys didn't go there by air, neither did they went there did they go there by sea. They advanced towards that location by land and also got there safely. So the military has the capability and capacity to carry out hostile surveillance within that given environment, with that threat perception area, and ensure that they dispatch reasonably security forces to curtail such crime in progress or such criminal gangs. For me, I'm still finding it very difficult to comprehend the reason why Nigerians have been failed. Because one of your colleagues in the studio says that the government has failed the Nigerian people. I go in line with that thought, because truly the government has failed the Nigerian people, because when it comes to security, is the topmost priority of any given government. If the government cannot protect cannot protect its people, then it has failed its people in its given priority to protect.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Osagie. Let's quickly go back to Professor Emmanuel Usue. Professor, now,
thank you.
Obviously, it seems like the people are by themselves and they have to fend for themselves, as it were. What are the people doing to protect themselves, or are they sitting back and waiting on government to come protect them?
There is very pathetic, because the communities that have been affected, they do not have the capacity to face these terrorists. They do not have the sophistication of their weapons to be able to face these terrorists. And so some have relocated to camps, or can I say IDP camps. Some have relocated to their families in some other villages or towns. And so it's a very difficult situation.
So basically, you're saying the people are now leaving their land just to stay alive. They are leaving their land. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they have left their land because the Fulanis are taken over. The terrorists have taken over the communities, and so they cannot stay there. If you stay there, you'll be dead. That's it. And let me be very sincere with you. Our government, both state and federal government, they are not serious. Why am I saying so? These incidents have happened over and over and over. And when you say the government has intelligence, I want to question that kind of intelligence. Intelligence to do what? If you look at the West, when an issue happens, analyses are made, intelligence information is gathered in order to address so that a similar situation won't happen again. Here in Nigeria, an incident happened over more than 20 times, and yet no reasonable solution is proffered. So what I'm trying to say is that I am aligning with the thinking that the government of Nigeria is part and parcel of our problem. Look at the issue of sponsors. Why is it that it is very difficult to arrest these sponsors? Because the government knows them. Information has been given to the government. Why is it that it's so difficult to arrest and bring these sponsors to justice so that the source of this or the causes of this terrorism will reduce drastically in Nigeria? Why is it so difficult for the government to do so? I think we keep on sitting here and talking, and people are going to be killed continuously until I, myself, will also one day disappear from the screen because I will be dead. This is so unfortunate. So to my mind, our government has not taken this as a serious issue. That's my own thinking.
Professor, so from your standpoint there in Benue State, what do you think is that thing that the government of Benue State or the federal government could do right now to curb this, what's going on in Kwande? What do you think might be the immediate solution?
The federal government has all the weapons, it has all the aircraft, it has the digital gadgets that they can locate this place, send drones, and be able to address these subject matters. I am not the one to give them these details because these are security matters, and I am not a professional in security, but I am very sure that the government knows what to do. But the government, what would the government want? How will I address the issue when I don't have the capacity, but the government has it? So the federal government and the state collaborate and address this issue. It is not beyond their ability to do it, but they are silly, the willingness, the sincerity is not there.
All right, then, thank you very much.
They keep on diverting their attention to something else. It's not a priority to the government of Nigeria.
Yes, of course, it is indeed horrible when we hear people that have been directly affected talk about these things. But, Professor, let's come to this. Let's come to the studio now. Let's come to Barrister Adams Atta. Now, insecurity, it's one too many in Nigeria. In fact, it's a lot. It's difficult to keep up with the killings here and there. Let's leave Benue now. You know, talking about government and what government can do and what the people should do as well. If you go back to what happened about a week ago in Kwara State, where over 100 people were slaughtered. We understand that there was a letter written to the community asking that they renounce Nigerian government and accept their doctrine, the doctrine of those that wrote the letter, accept their own government, all right? And that letter was written to the people, and the letter has made it to social media, allegedly saying, claiming that they did not want to harm anyone and were not thieves, or neither were they declaring war. And all they did was ask residents to renounce the Nigerian government and follow their doctrine. That's and we hear that from that letter had some alleged signatories to be Mohammed Bello Turji Kachala and also Bakura Doro, or his own faction of Boko Haram and all of that. How does this make you feel? Letter written to a community in Nigeria asking that leave your government and follow us, and if you don't, they come and kill them. And government basically, other than deploy other than statement from the president saying he was deploying some tactical squad there, we haven't heard anything come from that.
You know that this government is a government of social media crusade. You see them, they come out on the social media space and then they talk. In reality, there is nothing. They're not doing anything. And that is why you see that all the massive killing all over the Federation. As I'm speaking to you now, is it today or tomorrow, Mr. President is on his way to Kebbi State to go and commission a project. Whereas there have been incessant killing all over the Federation. Is it in Kaduna State you want to talk about? Is it in Benue State? Is it in Kwara State that people died recently? He can't even go there and sympathize with them. Is that a leader? You don't have emotion for people. You are not concerned about the welfareism, about the people that voted you in. That's not a leader. That is tyrant.
Is it until the president goes to every spot there is an attack that he will become a leader? Don't we have the security agencies? We have the NSA. We have the service chiefs.
My point is that if he can go, what is the purpose of Mr. President leaving FCT to go and commission a project in Kebbi State, and whereas he cannot go and sympathize with the people? I mean, when somebody is present, is a sign of concern, and then is a sign of emotion. It's a sign of love. These people voted you in. You have to have no romance with them. You have to come out massively and showcase them love. So, and that is one. And then on the second leg, on whether people have lost interest in the system. Yes, we have lost interest in the system. I have lost interest in the system. I don't know about you, but however, by the provisions of the Constitution, we are a sovereign nation. And for somebody to write a letter to a fellow Nigerians to denounce their loyalty to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the provisions of the Constitution is firm and is certain. This Constitution is supreme, and every other law that is acting side by side or in consonance with the provisions of this Constitution shall be declared null and void. That is certain. That is to say that we are a sovereign nation. And then furthermore, as to whether you can exercise your religion, your religious right, the provisions of the Constitution is equally clear. You can't force your own religion on another person. So that letter that was written to those people, as far as I'm concerned, that letter is just it's null and void. It has no legal effect. Yes. And the government on their own part, they are just not concerned, like I said. They are not disturbed, they are not perturbed. And that is why you see that those people are taking advantage of the system. This is the same Boko Haram the government said they have eliminated a long time ago. Another set of Boko Haram continue to spark up. We have not seen any conviction for once. Is that what you describe as a government? You harbor these people, you arrest them, you harbor them, you rebrand them, and then these people, they continue to recycle and then come back to the system.
Barrister Atta, we see these groups splinter, from Boko Haram to Lakurawa to Mahmuda, so many of them that I don't even know their names and all of that. And the government is still finding it difficult, to cut off the source, the funding, because a lot of people believe that this war has been internationalized to the extent that it was the UAE that gave us a list of people, sponsors of terrorism. Yet we have a government that today tells us they will release the list next week. The next week they'll tell us that they are working on the list. The other week they say, we'll soon start prosecuting and all of that. So do you think that the president asking, the deployment of a cantonment or a brigade to terror zone is going to solve the problem? Because, okay, let's say you move a cantonment to Kwara State. and something happens, you move another one to Borno State, and something happens, you take another one to Kaduna State. I mean, is that how we are going to travel in this journey?
Let me say that this is the same government that came out. Is it last year or last 2 years? Remember that names of some people were published. Are you aware of that fact? And up to date, we have not secured any conviction. Nobody is used as a deterrent.
In 30 seconds, give us your concluding thoughts on this conversation today.
My stand is firm. Let the government wake up. I've always been saying that. We pay tax to government. That is the purpose of the social. That's the purpose of the social contract theory. You pay tax, and then in reciprocal, the government protects you. Let the government wake up and do the needful. Otherwise, these people will continue to take advantage. And let me say this finally: if the government fail or consistently fail when we need their service, people are going to come out massively to protect themselves.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Adam Zata. Dr. Dixon Osagie, please, your concluding thoughts, please, in 1 minute.
I mean, I think it's an absence of political will, and also it's so sad we're seeing these guys, they are done with the Northeast, they went to the Northwest, they are also messing up the Northwest now, they are in the Middle Belt. The Middle Belt consists of 7 states, the Kogi, Nasarawa, and also 1 or 2 other states that made up the Middle Belt. So I think there's a plan to take over Nigeria, which is an external aggression, and this external aggression is regrettable. So finally, I would advise the Nigerian government to set up military commandos in every state of every state of the country, and also give them attack helicopters. And the police must also be well equipped for solely taking care of our people, because they are solely responsible for internal security. So give standby commandos, helicopters, and also equip the Nigerian police to ensure that they go after these guys behaving our country and ensure that they bring us back to a state of peace. And it's so sad that the Nigerian government knows what to do, but they are not doing it at their own.
It's sad indeed. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Dixon Osagie, International Certified Anti-Terrorism Specialist, Global Security Analyst, veteran of Nigerian Army, CEO, the Breeze Protection Service Limited. Thank you for your time. Professor Emmanuel Osue, let's have your concluding thoughts in one minute.
Suggestion made by this, my friend, the government of Nigeria should stop denying the genocide, stop denying the atrocities. Let's the government acknowledge that it exists. Second, sponsors should be brought to justice. The government has a list of sponsors. The government of Nigeria cannot tell us that they don't know those who are sponsoring this. Bring them to justice. Right. In addition to those things that my other brother has said. Thank you
very much, Professor Emmanuel Odue Usue, Professor of Old Testament Studies at Benue State University, Makurdi, Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
Thank you
on the program, and big thanks to Mr. Adams Atta Esquire, legal practitioner. Thank you for your time on the program. I do expect that you will stay with us into newspaper review. It's a horrible thing happening in parts of Nigeria, with Nigerians killed daily. I mean, the professor talked about 70 people killed last week, somewhere in Benue as well. And it's horrible to think about. Not all the killings make it to the papers. And one can only hope that someday the government will realize that it is its duty to protect Nigerians. And then they will indeed protect Nigerians. That's my hope. That's my prayer. On behalf of my colleagues, Chukwuba Okoro, Jane Ogoye, I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. Join us again at 10 for Newspaper Review. Bye for now.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Appion. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, with the sport.
When I first heard VOP, I thought they were talking about me because I'm a voice-over personality. But no, this is Voice of the People TV, and you are riveted forever because this is the place to be.
Yo guys, your boy Chella. Shout out to VOP TV. I love you guys.
Salut tout le monde, Suspect 95. Là, on est sur VOP TV. On passe un bon temps.
J'espère que vous kiffez. On est au Afrima. On est ensemble. VOP TV.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. VOP, you don't know Stoneware from Ghana representing live and living color. Yeah, Beam Nation President. Outside with it. Bless up.
Hello, this is Milo from Ivory Coast. Keep watch Voice of the People TV. Regardez la voix du peuple, la télévision de la voix du peuple. Que Dieu vous bénisse. À très bientôt. Love you so much.
Hi guys, what's up? This is Gaze Baba. I am watching VOP TV. Usually you'll be told to not touch the dial, but I tell you to touch the dial and increase the volume. You're like, keep it locked. It's Afro Gospel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shego Aronzo. You're watching VOP. Don't change the dial.
My Joe, fine girl. My Joe, fine babe. Only are you, but on the Fuji was who. Yes, don't touch the dial. This is me, Dr. Adiwala Iba. Keep watching VOP TV.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
VOP TV. Now.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
Well, thank you very much for joining us again. And if you're just tuning in, you're most welcome. This is Newspaper Review. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I am Chukuma Okoro. Thanks for joining us again.
And I'm Jane Ogoye. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
And we still have with us Mr. Adams Ata Esquire, a legal practitioner. Thank you very much for coming. And we have Mr. Darlington Agumwo, a lawyer, with us as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time here. Now let's dive into the papers. Let's look at the headlines. There's a story I was reading about. It's not on the cover page, so let me just leave that one for now. Let's go to, let's start off with the Guardian newspaper. These are the headlines on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper. T-bills see over 400% demand spike as manufacturers face credit squeeze. That's Treasury bills. The writers to that story can be found on page 6, and quickly flipping. It says, financial sector continues to crowd out real sector. Fund-starved SMEs operator paying 5% monthly interest rates. Experts seek more responsible banking. Urge operators to support real sector. All right. So that's, let's take some of the headlines. BOI secures CBN's approval for non-interest banking. Pope mourns victims of attacks in Nigeria, urges government to protect citizens. Atiku, no economic sense in reviving failed refineries after $1.5 billion. Well, they are reviving to sell, isn't it? Let's have reactions to these headlines, and then we'll take some more from the daily still.
Before we can listen to the man at NNPCL, let him return all the money he told us he wanted to use to repair the refinery. Because for you to talk about repairing the refinery, you must have done your cost-benefit analysis.
He's not been given the money to repair the refinery. He only made proposals. Maybe before he saw how bad it was.
He mentioned an amount of money. He mentioned
probably.
But he was not given.
Before he saw how bad it was.
No. They gave money.
But not to jewelry.
Not to buy your jewelry.
So this one that he's telling us now, was it what he promised us when he came in?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he probably went in there, he saw the paper, like, oh yes, I can do this.
Look, Mr.
I can do this.
Moses,
but then he got in there and realized that, this one.
Please, whatever he's telling me now, until they return that 210 trillion, I will not listen.
That is missing.
I think that one under his watch or under somebody's watch. Under somebody's watch. Let him trace it. Government is a continuum.
While they're tracing that one, should we just leave the refineries like that? It's been redundant, and the workers are asking to be paid.
Are they not being paid before? They are being paid.
Their monies were delayed at some point.
No, they are being paid. They are being paid. It's only Nigeria that you pay somebody for not working.
But it's not their fault.
It's not their fault that they don't give them work to do. You employ them. You gave them offer letter. They accepted, signed, and
when you see
even train them with our money.
Train them with our money abroad.
When you see incompetence, and that particular all the refinery is a good example. When you are talking about incompetence, it's a good example. So Why should they now celebrate what the man is saying now? That the refinery cannot be repaired.
But I'm not sure anyone is celebrating him. Nigerians are asking questions. They say, Bayo, how come you told us you needed 60 billion, to fix these refineries? And we told him at that point that, look, Aliko used 20 billion to build his own. Now you're asking for 60 billion for maintenance
I am telling
alone.
you.
And meanwhile, within a space of how many years, close to $10 billion had been sent. And now he's made a recant and he said, well, unfortunately, these refineries can't work.
Really?
So that Nigerians are asking, between then and now, what happened? What did you see? Nigerians are even asking, does it look like, well, they try to sell off these assets to themselves?
No, all this while, is he not collecting salary?
Barrister is not the only refinery. NNPCL is a conglomerate. They have a lot of things they do. So it's not only the refineries. They do other things.
What are they producing for us? Is a question. What's their core mandate? What are they producing for us?
Barrister, they also manage the joint venture operations now with international oil companies. They are also into production. MPDC, yes. They have the MPDC.
Of what? Producing what?
Oil. MPDC located somewhere in Edo State.
Have you had one particular product that is coming out from there?
Barrister, it's oil now. They're into exploration. Yes, MPDC. You've not heard about MPDC before.
Really? The upstream conglomerate headed by the resigned man, Benga Komolafe,